voluntary and related activities reflect motivation and discipline. Her family has a very modest means, and the financial burdens of tuition represent a serious obstacle for her if she is to succeed in achieving her ambition of graduating from university. She intends to work part-time throughout her university career. Being a high school student competing this year against highly qualified older students at the graduate and postgraduate level, she cannot be evaluated by the same criteria as the others. However, RAR represents precisely the kind of young student which the NLAC Toronto Branch Scholarship is designed to help. And for this reason, we feel she's eminently deserving of an $1,000 award. So I thought you would like to hear that, because definitely this student was deserving of this scholarship. I've also put out on the table the flyers for Moose Milk, which is on December the 11th. And if you haven't signed up and would like to join us, there will be a list there to sign up as well. And so, I thank you for your toonie in the dory. And our trivia for today is a simple one, ship shape. Just in case you think this is a term of recent origin, please note that Xenophon coined the term while chatting with his boyfriend and teacher, Socrates. So ship shape goes back a long way. And we're going to do, the shanty we're going to do this morning is the Eddystone Light, and I do need a few people up there to help me with this, and it is on page 18.
You don't want me,
Page 18.
I don't need it.
Thank you all. I was at a jazz thing last night listening to, now I can't remember her name, Robinson. She was absolutely outstanding and had just the most glorious voice.
Was she singing Eddystone Light?
No. There you go.
What's the point?
There you go. Okay, so enjoy your lunch, and we will come back in a few minutes with our guest speaker.
The draw, the book draw.
Oh, the book draw. I beg your pardon, Paul.
thought you were ignoring me.
Not intentionally.
Oh, yeah. Right?
Ending at 3.
Three is,
I'm reading in a 7, better than a 3.
no, I said everything was 13. I'm born on the 13th.
Long ticket. 9:55. What? 9:55. I think you'll find that's me. All right. Draw's over. Yeah. That's it. I take them all over. $9.74.
977. Could be here.
I must be 973.
974?
498.
Nope. 9:52. Hello?
9:52.
9:51. You have the visa. 9:52? Not here. 9:67.
997.
9:67.
5-7?
9:67. 971. 945. 964. 964.
Sorry, 64 or 54?
64.
64.
942.
I think that's in the dory on that table.
$953. $951.
Sorry. Dory's winning.
Big time. 943. I'm getting bored here, guys. 960. Hey, finally something. You can have 5 books.
Actually, just putting us out of our good mouth.
I see 3 of them that I donated.
I know, I was thinking the same
Still
thing.
gives you 2.
What do I do with these people? 977.
Hey!
Oh, good for you.
No, 9. Yeah, that's me.
That's close enough.
Wonderful. Excited.
961.
He's amazing, he still does races all over the world.
He's on a roll, he's on a roll. He's on a roll.
I gave it up for 10 years.
958.
Dory.
It was in June.
I heard that. This morning, he was here after.
948.
I'll be back.
You can have it. It's yours.
Elements of yacht
You're
design.
admitting, I guess, too.
Elements of yacht design.
981.
Dory.
979.
Give this to you.
One?
I'll pass. Okay.
Yeah, I will do this. So we have to keep going.
956. Yes, no, in between? Oh, good.
You get 20.
969.
This table. And that's the 97, this is the
962. 982.
Well,
Dory.
That's right. Leave it away from there won't be any.
972. 959. 968.
Give it up, my friend.
980.
Dory.
Dory's winning. 954.
Draw a game, Bill. My wife says you're on a diet, not me, so we wanna keep it going while the rest of the season.
969.
That's like that.
I'm gonna run out of tickets.
We hope.
963.
Well, that's pretty good.
We save it.
We're done 61.
We can't save it till next week.
975.
I get one.
I'll add another book.
What's your number?
Oh, so I get to read you.
946.
Oh. That's okay, go get a book. I got the book. Brought the book back.
948.
Last draw, Paul. Doesn't get taken. We'll leave it till next week.
965.
No.
Goodbye.
Win.
We did our best. While you're ahead.
You're
Oh,
all there.
forget.
They're your books.
Thank you, Paul.
Yes, I'm trying to.
You gotta take
I
everything
need
that's
some of them
left.
in four.
Yeah, I would like to look at it after.
Okay. We're gonna take it over there?
No, you read it first.
It's one of 20 books that are on my list.
Just 20?
Oh, but, yeah, it's, give me the books.
So I have a question about the Queen. All this fuss about Cassandra when
Oh, it's unbelievable.
the guy in New York.
Epstein.
You're the best and most important. How many children does the Queen have?
4.
And he's just one of them.
Yeah,
He's the third of the four.
Ah, okay.
there was
he is-
about 8 years difference wasn't there between, yeah. Edward's the youngest.
So it's Charles.
Charles and Anne. Anne came next. Charles and
And then
then
it was a
but
big
8 years
gap,
later.
and then Andrew and Edward were born
Ah,
a few years
okay.
apart.
Thank you.
You don't hear much about Edward at all anymore. So they have,
He works full time.
yes, and his wife too. And apparently, Anne is, I heard these, something on the radio on the news when they were talking about, I didn't know Anne was get divorced. Is this her second divorce or the first one, she never been married or?
So she only been divorced once.
Yeah.
She remarried in Scotland.
Yeah. Married, she's with him still. Yeah, I saw her in something, yeah.
No, she's the president of the Bishop Seafarers International.
Oh, is she?
The Queen is patron, and Princess Royal is our president.
She keeps they all keep a very low profile. And I think the grandchildren also keep a low profile. But when you hear about what they said about Andrew, the young girl, he's got 2 daughters, it just turned my stomach.
When did you do this? I haven't heard.
They were young when he did it, but it doesn't matter, it's still horrifying. I'm sorry,
Yeah, but that hasn't been proven.
No. I'd
And
like to
he
think.
admits that he was a friend of Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, God.
And now they're all upset because he's not showing remorse for being a friend of Jeffrey Epstein. Everybody, being a friend of JeffreyEpstein certainly tarred you with an unusual brush, but it doesn't mean you're guilty of molesting young girls.
Isn't he still living with his wife? Yeah, they've been together ever since they were divorced.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
They call it irreversible.
I like that.
Any of you want to see the Crown?
Yes, we co-parent. The children don't live there anymore, but they do.
Season 3 just came out on the 17th, which was just,
Sunday.
yes, season 3 just started, I'll have to watch it.
And it has a different main character.
Olivia Quinn, and they sort of morph one to the
Yes,
other.
yes.
There's references and stuff.
I saw the first section, it was quite good.
It was, the third one, is called Aberfan. And as soon as the name hit, I thought, oh, wait a minute, this is a mining disaster.
You mean the third series?
The third program in the third series is called Aberfan.
Oh, so you've
Now,
seen
if
it?
you've seen the movie The Queen, and she doesn't acknowledge Princess Diana in any way, it's a similar kind of theme. The guy who wrote them, one wrote the other. And so it's a theme that I recognize right away, but she said somehow somebody picked up that Aberfan was still the biggest source of remorse in her life.
What is everything?
It was a terrible mining disaster where a slip came downhill and killed
180 people.
no, it's 116.
Where was this disaster?
So they were only allowed to keep I can't remember the name of the refuge. It can't be a lot higher than 20 feet according to the regulations. 180 feet. And it rained and rained, it rains a lot in that area, and the rain was underneath an area where there were springs, natural springs. And it came down the hill, and the first thing it hit was a school full of kids Friday morning.
When was that? I seem to recall.
60,
When?
I don't remember the specific date, I just remember knowing that. Anyway, I was reading a little bit about, there was a teacher in, one of the rooms who was protected.
with a bunch of little
She's got 5 little kids underneath her. She was trying to keep them. They all survived when she
So do you know where in Southwell, I lived in Southwell.
Aberfan's the name of the town. And there's all the valleys and hills and everything.
It's not on the coast, it's
No, it's in the interior. Yeah.
So you've seen, so you've already seen
Only the first 3.
yeah, of the third season. Good for you, I will start watching.
Oh, and the one about Margaret, what they did to that woman.
It is horrible.
And now, of course, Margaret was the one who wanted to do all these little letters. Now, of course, everybody's busy. They make sure everybody goes out, everybody's on parade, everybody's going to different countries, everybody's taking part. Everybody has royal engagement. It's the firm, you don't get away with it. And so they deny all the time. She can't marry the man she loves, she can't go on royal tours, she can't act on the Queen's behalf, she can't do anything. But this is about when the United Kingdom was bankrupt, and the IMF was about to pull the plug. So they were going to the Americans to get the Americans to lend them $1 billion. They didn't even have a word for it. $1,000 million, we need $1,000 million. And, no, that was in 1964, because it was Lyndon Johnson. So they invite him to come shooting grouse in Balmoral, and he said, "Go away." So then he counters with inviting Princess Margaret to Nicholas to come away, because she and Prince are in the United States. Oh no, we're not inviting the Queen, we're gonna invite Margaret instead. So the Queen gives her all these instructions about not being herself. Of course, she goes totally over the top. I mean, they go completely berserk. And, secures the loan. And, I mean, she does it the most unorthodox manner of all, but then he buys into it. He loves her, she's amazing. And they have a drinking contest, and a singing contest, and a limerick contest, which better than Margaret. Anyways, she comes home and she says, "Well, let me do more of this. You have so much to do. I can do this. You know I love it. I'm happy to do this." Absolutely.
Isn't that interesting?
And now, of course, everything that she represented, you know, she couldn't marry the man that she married. She had a divorce. She was divorced. And she couldn't marry him because he was divorced, and then she got divorced. Everything that happened now, the Queen had said yes to everybody. You know, allowing Harry to have a beard and wear and marry a biracial, divorced American. None of that would have happened.
Oh, could you imagine?
And Charles married Camilla after his wife dies, and, you know, all that, exactly, that was a huge one too.
Well, that one relates to the succession, because Charles is the heir.
Yes, absolutely. And somebody else asked me a couple days ago, well, what will happen if the Queen abdicates? I said, the Queen doesn't have to.
She's not. You can't. Her mother lived till she was 103.
Well, not only that, abdication would be cutting off that whole branch, which would mean Margaret's son, the Earl of Snow, would become the next king.
What? I thought it would go to Charles.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't do that. You abdicate the whole branch off. So when Edward VIII abdicated, he and his heirs gave up all the rights to succession. There would be no heirs from him.
I had no idea.
I didn't know that. I thought
Yes.
it was British history because my father's family is over.
No, it's not that, it's, no, you lose, so right now, there's heirs from here to Timbuktu.
But isn't there Earl Snowden a good person?
Oh, he's an idiot.
Oh, he's an idiot, but not too
He
bad.
died.
Oh, he died. So who would take over that if it's not the Earl?
His son, who is the current Earl of Snow. It was hereditary.
You never hear anything about him.
No, his David Lindley, he designs furniture. Oh no, she's very active. She's very active. I had some certificates made for three groups that have been really generous supporters of the mission seeker. One individual had two groups, and when I handed them the certificate, we had a frame, a big frame. They thought I had signed it, they had some photos, and they all put the signature and freaked out because it didn't last very long. And then I said, her president, and they freaked out because they thought it was just and she will only do it for certain, you know, if you reach a certain criteria for her mind. And when they called me, I said, well, she may not do it in a certain place, then nobody gets it. I said, it's all or nothing at all. You know?
So let me ask you something. So when the Queen suddenly dies, I mean, she's
Then her son, Prince Charles, becomes the king.
then he becomes. So
But that's succession. That is
Right.
abdication.
There's right.
In death, she does not abdicate her position.
Yes.
She
But if she
dies.
dies, then Charles doesn't.
Then Charles, then William, then George, but if he's not there, Charlotte becomes.
Yeah, they changed the rules.
They changed the rules. She made them change the rules.
Yeah, but Charles and Elizabeth too. He sounds like a good person, Charles.
Charles is a good person.
Yeah.
Tony Armstrong Jones on the other hand, is an idiot.
Now, some people have said, well, Charles, could he just step out of the line and put William?
That would be abdication.
That'd be abdication.
Absolutely.
And if he did that, it would go to William,
No.
where would it go then?
It would go to Margaret's grandchildren, or Margaret's son.
Not if he, wouldn't it go, Charles, wouldn't it go to
It
his
takes
brother?
it was Oprah, it would go to, Anne. His older children.
I doubt if she'd want it from his
No. But the whole branch goes, and that's what people don't seem to realize. It's not like Holland where the queen abdicates in favor of somebody else, because that's what they do. This is the whole, the last three queens had abdicated. So when they got old, they decided they didn't want to do this anymore, and they abdicated. And Spain did too.
Charles and Anne, sorry. Yeah, right.
Let him go to Andrew.
That would be pretty useless.
Totally useless. All due respect, but
He sounds like he was very spoiled from what I read.
I don't think spoiled is well, I don't think anyone would do it. But I think he wanted to win everything for the neighborhood. He didn't like having a job to do when he finished school.
Ahoy! It gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce Bill Bialkowski again. He was born in Poland in 1940. His father, an aeronautical engineer, had escaped the German invasion and was already flying in the RAF 300 bomber squadron. The family escaped to England after World War II, where Bill's father worked on a jet fighter project. Bill set his sights on becoming a naval aviator, flying Seahawks from carriers. His interest in naval aviation has continued ever since. In 1957, the family moved to Canada as Bill's father was hired by the Avro for the Arrow project. In 1963, he received a degree in electrical engineering from Nova Scotia Technical College, paid for by the Royal Canadian Navy as an ROTP cadet. On graduation, he served in destroyers at sea before electing to leave the Navy in 1966 to pursue graduate studies. He graduated again with a master's degree as a control engineer from the University of Toronto in 1968. In 1984, he founded his own consulting company, which applied the science of stability, control, and stimulation to helping pulp and paper mills achieve higher productivity. He has published many technical papers and contributed to several books. He was inducted into the Canadian Academy of Engineering in 1994, awarded the Control Engineer of the Year in LA in 1997, and named a pioneer of the U.S. pulp and paper industry in 2000. At 50, he took up flying as a hobby, flew aerobatics, and owned a seaplane, all to compensate for not flying in the Navy. He has logged over 1,000 hours, including 400 flying float planes. He is also a sailor. He's a member of the Naval Association of Canada, supports the Canadian Warplane Heritage Museum, the Shearwater Aviation Museum, and Vintage Wings of Canada. Bill is married, has 3 grown children, 4 grandchildren. It's true, flying is 99% routine and 1% terrifying, especially at night. Please give a warm welcome to our guest speaker today, Bill Bialkowski.
Thank you, Diana. This is almost home for me. I've been here 3 times apparently. Okay, is this okay? Can you hear me okay? No. No?
Try to get your mouth.
You have to get really close to the microphone.
Okay, how's that? Good. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about Canada's Naval Aviators since 1914. I'd like to dedicate the talk to the memory of Robert Hampton Gray of Nelson, British Columbia. Hammy Gray. He is the Canadian Navy's only Victoria Cross in World War II. He's also celebrated in Britain because he actually flew, even though he's a Canadian, he flew in the Royal Navy. So the Royal Navy celebrates his memory as one of the 2 Victoria Crosses that the Fleet Air Arm, the flyers of the Royal Navy, earned during World War II. But he's certainly Canada's most illustrious naval aviator. So, as you can see, Hammy Gray, naval aviators are sailors who fly, usually from aircraft carriers. They volunteered to fly in Britain up to 1945, and from 1946 until 1969, we had our own aircraft carriers and our own naval air arm. There are no Canadian naval aviators serving today. That whole episode in our history is gone and mainly forgotten. So I'm going to tell this story through a set of little vignettes about various people that I've sort of picked at, not at random, they were quite well known. And I hope as an enthusiastic flyer I can make their love of flying come alive in this talk to see what we can do. So I'm going to go first of all a little bit about World War I, quite a bit about World War II, and then flying in Canada in post-war, during the Cold War. We're talking about the Cold War. And then it all came to an end, and then we had the Sea King. You may remember the Sea King helicopter saga, which went on and has finally ended. So I'm going to talk about people, some of the aircraft they flew, the ships they flew from, and the joys and some of the sorrows of flying. There are quite a few sources for this talk, and I've given Diane a contracted list of some of the books that you might be interested in taking a look at, and I'll mention some of them as I go through. So one of the books, Canada's Naval Aviators, and that's what the front cover looks like, has almost 2,000 names. 300 of them flew in World War I. Almost 600 flew in World War II. And then back in Canada, post-war, almost 1,000. According to this book, 168 died while flying. But you have to appreciate that, the book is only about the officers in the Royal Canadian Navy. The enlisted men are not in that book, so actually the numbers are higher than the ones I've given you. So World War I. Undoubtedly, the most famous person from World War I was Raymond Collishaw. And this photograph, let's see if I could do this with one hand. I'm not sure whether that's possible. No. Yeah, there you go.